FEMA is tremendously prepared. This is what we do. This is what they do. And the key here, Rebecca, is also to make sure that the communities who are potentially impacted are prepared as well.
Several months later.
We're not getting the amount of support that we need.
We haven't seen FEMA, we haven't seen Red Cross, we haven't seen Hearts with Hands, we've seen no agencies come through here. Most people drive through with their cameras out, filming us like we're animals in a zoo, and don't stop.
How could the government do us like this, and how could the whole country just forget about us? Like, it's not enough. What is being done is not enough. I mean, there are entire communities that have been just decimated. Where is our government? I mean, for Kamala, and I am an avid supporter for her to stand in Florida today and make a statement. Where is our government?
Sources say over 1,000 troops in North Carolina are just sitting around doing nothing, waiting for orders that haven't come. They haven't heard from the North Carolina governor, and the Biden administration's blocking ongoing rescue operations.
They're in the way. They are directly interrupting our ability to conduct missions and operations. And I'm not going to disparage anybody, because we are trying to work within partner relationships, both government and non-government entities within state and federal and county. I went to put a couple of people into a hotel last night, and they have a security guard at the hotel. And they said, "Oh, we're so sorry. The entire hotel has been booked for federal employees." And I was like, no, I have people that would just pull it out of a mountain that are living out in the hills, and there's not a place for me to put them because we have federal employees that are staying in the hotel. I slept in this white car last night. I smell like foot and death right now, as does every single person on our team.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about a story that is a very difficult story for me to talk about because it hits very close to home, and that is the story about the devastation and destruction that has happened in parts of Florida, Georgia, Western North Carolina, and Eastern Tennessee as a result of Hurricane Helene. That looks like the deadliest hurricane to hit this country since Katrina. And unfortunately, we have to talk about the federal government and their lack of response to the devastation and destruction that has happened in these states, part of the country that it seems like it's easy for the elites, the politicians, to forget about. And that seems to be what is happening to this part of the country, as people on the ground are basically reporting that they feel left behind. They feel abandoned because they are not getting the resources that they need in order to survive and to get by in the aftermath of the devastation and destruction that has happened to that part of the country. Okay. And the devastation and destruction is something that really is unspeakable. Okay. It is apocalyptic. If you look at some of the videos from towns like Asheville, it really is heartbreaking. Okay. And I've spent time in Asheville. It's a beautiful place, beautiful mountains. It's a great place to visit, especially if you are there for, the art and the culture, the vibes, the breweries, some of the historic properties. It really is a great place. I mean, it's one of the most unique places in this country, right? And it's been destroyed. It's been leveled. And, it's really tough to imagine a situation like this, especially considering how this is in the mountains. And, you really don't expect this part of the state to get hit the way that it got hit by a hurricane, right? It's not something that you really expect. Now, I grew up on the coast of North Carolina, in the eastern part of North Carolina, and I've lived through my fair share of hurricanes, okay? Hurricane Floyd, Hurricane Isabel. I do remember those hurricanes growing up. It was tough. So, I get it. But the amount of devastation and destruction that happened as a result of this recent hurricane is something that I think is unimaginable for a vast majority of people. And what really saddens me about this disaster is that our federal government seems to be dragging their feet in regards to getting people the help that they need, as we've discussed, because our leadership seems to be completely incompetent.
What do the states in the storm zone need, Mr. President? Sorry? What do the states in the storm zone, what do they need after what you saw today?
Oh, in the storm zone.
Yes, sir.
I'm wondering what storm you're talking about. They're getting everything they need. And they're very happy across the board.
And the federal relief and assistance that we have been providing has included FEMA providing $750 for folks who need immediate needs being met, such as food, baby formula, and the like. And you can apply now for anyone who's watching this who has been affected. There are FEMA personnel who are going door to door to interact personally with folks, especially those who do not have electricity. But also that aid, if you have electricity, can be applied for online, and I encourage people to do that. FEMA will just basically verify your address and then process.
Hey guys, for those that don't know, I'm at the foothills of the Western North Carolina mountains, and everybody in my area that I've talked to, including myself, who applied for the $750 assistance payment from FEMA, has been denied. Okay? Yeah. They've denied us. Okay. So here we sit. We've thrown out all of our food because we had no power for 5-6 days. Some still are without power. Here we sit. Limited resources in the store. And they have denied our $750 resource check. So, yeah. How do you like that?
I just saw the video of Kamala Harris in my hometown, Augusta, Georgia, speaking to people like everything's going to be okay. She's sitting here telling us that go online, apply. Well, okay, hundreds of us still don't have power, internet services. Sure, we can get to it. We can fight. We can apply. We can get on it for immediate assistance. Well, I went on because we split. We went to Columbia right away and got our hotel room. Now, luckily, we're in an Airbnb. This is a place that we get to live. I get to give my kids some hot water, some power, some food, just some comfort, something to help them know that this is going to be okay while our house is back home destroyed and filling up with water. The floors are caving in. Hundreds of people. That's happening to everybody around the city. Like I said, we still don't have water, still don't have power. Slowly it's getting restored, and I think all the linemen that are out there working so hard from all the other states, they're the only ones that are actually getting things done, not the freaking government. Because you're telling us to go online to FEMA and apply, and you'll get immediate help for $750. Well, okay, I went on FEMA, I applied, and I immediately got denied.
Honest, are you kidding me? Joe Biden is the one who's at the beach. Yes, and no, wait a minute. Let me finish the sentence, okay? Yes. Joe Biden was at the beach. The storm hit on Thursday night. He's on the beach. He doesn't even think about going. And you know what? Kemp asked for disaster relief for 99 counties. And Donald Trump was right when he said that they're not giving the Republicans the relief. The Biden administration only gave relief for 11. And then when everybody kicked and screamed, Biden said, okay, we'll give 30 counties.
Yeah, that seems to be all the federal government, the Biden-Harris administration has to offer the American people when they need help the most. Just $750, and apparently some people are being denied. Now, I find this to be particularly egregious when you have countries like Ukraine and Israel, when they come to the United States with their hands out looking for billions and billions and billions of dollars. The politicians, the Biden administration, they have no trouble whatsoever finding funds and money to give to foreign countries. We have no issues with that. But when it comes to the American people, whether that be East Palestine or Maui or Western North Carolina, Eastern Tennessee, parts of Georgia, when they need help, all the federal government has is, hey, here's $750. You're on your own. And, you know, they can't seem to prioritize getting out there and giving them the resources and the help that they need. I mean, people need to be saved out there. People stranded, no lights, no cell phone service, nothing. But you do have some who have stepped up and shown some leadership in this situation, like, for example, President Trump, who has worked with Elon Musk to try to provide people with working internet via Starlink and Elon Musk.
And they were having tremendous problems, in particular in North Carolina. You can't even get in. They were wiped out. They had no communication whatsoever. And they said, do you know somebody named Elon Musk? I said, I happen to know him. He just endorsed me. They said, is there any way he does a product, Starlink? Did anyone ever hear of Starlink? And it's another one of his genius products. It is genius, too, actually. And they said, is there any way? Because North Carolina, in particular, has absolutely no communication. We can't communicate. You can't get there. You just can't talk. And many people are missing. You know, it's really bad. It's really, really bad. Many people are missing, and our federal government is doing so badly. So I said, Elon, can you do us a favor? Can you take care of it? He had, within 45 minutes, planes and helicopters loaded up with this equipment, and they were having perfect communication within less than 24 hours. It was unbelievable. And I said to the person that got me and made the request, who's over there really suffering too, I said, well, what's the difference between that and what they had with the hard wire? They said, actually, the hard wire is not as good. Think of that. So this man got, and he also said, just take it. You'll pay if you can. I mean, people are getting these expensive systems from him, and we really owe him a debt of gratitude. Elon Musk. Great. Not a lot of people would have done that. Most people could not have acted that fast either. He got it right away. They were starting to load, I think, before the phone conversation ended.
Yeah, so Elon Musk is just on a whole other level. He really is. He is the real life Tony Stark. He really is. Now, this is not the first time Trump has done this. Okay, I want people to understand that Trump has stepped up during times of disasters like this, and you know, he's done things behind closed doors and nobody even knew about it. Like, for example, he did something of similar service in Maui in the aftermath of that disaster as well, too. Take a listen.
He came to Maui.
He came with an empty plane.
Yes.
Did you know that Trump's daughter came with a plane full of generators? She brought Skylink. She was undercover. I have pictures of her. She partnered with the church up the street and put out a big, huge meal for everybody, and no press covered that. I think Trump is the great negotiator, and we need somebody like him to negotiate. I mean, look what he did with RFK Jr. just recently. That's the art of the deal right there.
Yeah.
Perfect example.
He can solve things and wrap things up. And I believe if he does become president, he's going to help America first. Do you believe
Absolutely.
that?
Absolutely. And I'm all for legal immigration, like most people.
Mm-hmm.
We want people that come into our country to be vetted. We don't want criminals. We don't want fentanyl. It's killing us. And look at, Trump went after the opioid crisis, the big pharma, and that's why they tried to kill him.
Yep.
Tried everything else.
Yeah, so speaking of migrants and illegal immigration, that brings me to the main point of this video, which is the fact that apparently FEMA is going broke. FEMA is going broke because of illegal immigrants. They've essentially given all the money to the illegal immigrants, the Biden-Harris administration, because this is the America Last administration. Okay, I want you guys to understand, as the American people are in dire need of assistance from FEMA, which is supposed to be a government entity designed to help out in these situations, they're saying, hey, we really don't have the money because we've given all of it away to the illegal immigrants to take care of them, which is something that should be unheard of in a country like this, but it is something that it is happening in this country because of our leadership. Is an absolute disaster. So I want to react to this story because, again, this makes this story even more heartbreaking.
Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas sounding the alarm on FEMA funding right after the devastation of Hurricane Helene. Listen.
We are meeting the immediate needs with the money that we have. We are expecting another hurricane hitting. We do not have the funds. FEMA does not have the funds to make it through the season.
This all comes as the Biden-Harris administration spent over $1 billion from a FEMA program on services for migrants.
Wow.
Attorney General of the great state of Florida, Ashley Moody, joins me now. AG Moody, why does the Biden-Harris administration always seem to help American taxpayers last?
Well, I mean, the reason why in this situation is simple. It's the same reason why they really didn't care that much about the citizens of East Palestine. It's because they're Trump voters, right? And Western North Carolina is Trump country, very much Trump country, to be quite honest with you. And election season is coming up. So I wouldn't be surprised if they're kind of slow walking the response in order to make sure that the state doesn't get back up to, I don't think it's ever going to really be normal again for years. Okay. It's not going to be normal, but they don't want to respond too fast. Okay. Because, hey, that might keep some people from voting, right? This is what Democrats do. They always want to talk about voter suppression. And I think what's happening right now in regards to this slow response, not having any money, denying people their checks, being missing in action. Who knows? Maybe this could be a form of voter suppression. I don't know. I'm just saying this is what Democrats throw out there all the time, right? But regardless, what you're seeing here is the priority of the Democrats. This is what they do. They prioritize everybody else over this country. Israel comes first. Ukraine comes first. Illegal immigrants come first. And again, the frustrating part about this is that you have voters in this country who don't realize that this illegal immigrant issue is an issue because we're a country of limited resources. We don't have unlimited resources to give to people, but yet you have some people out there, like very naive college students, that think that voting based off of illegal immigration or voting against illegal immigration or talking about illegal immigration is not a real issue. The real issues are the trans issues.
Let's do it. And let me ask you this. What are some of the questions you think your generation has that you have not seen answered at this moment by either of the candidates?
Oof, that's a fun question, because I'm thinking about all the different things people have been coming up to me, telling me, and I wish they would talk about this. I wish they would talk about that.
Yeah.
And I won't lie to you, of all the things I hear a lot of people saying, everybody's worried about immigration is not on the top of the list.
Yeah.
But you also got to remember, we a bunch of college students. We worried about, paying for class. Is my debt going to be here for another million years? I have a bunch of friends that are in the transgender community who are still wondering if they're going to have rights at the end of this election. One of them, who was interviewed on NBC, has been dealing with so much cyberbullying by these idiots and trolls is nonsense. So I've got friends who are too focused on whether or not they're going to have rights at the end of this election to be focused on much else.
Good morning, Todd. Yeah, everyone should be waking up this morning outraged by that comment. This is not something that has just happened recently, and Florida's been warning about this since this administration took over. Mayorkas has come in like a virus and infected these what need to be healthy, strong, fundamental programs to ensure the stability and safety of Americans in times of disaster. So you heard, they have taken the FEMA emergency food and shelter program and over time siphoned off hundreds of millions of dollars into basically making it an illegal immigrant resettlement program. And so when you see these states and cities around the nation declaring emergencies, even blue states, because of what this administration has done, encouraging more and more and more, developing programs to encourage more and more and more people to come here, the government, Biden and Harris, are having to fund that on the backs of the American people. And now, right now, when Florida, North Carolina, Tennessee, Georgia, all of these states are hurting because of this truly natural disaster, not a Biden-Harris made disaster, they're saying we need more money. And of course they need more money because they've been laundering it from the true intended purpose of this fund that Congress set forth. Laws be damned.
There's two things going on here. We just touched upon the main thing, this horrific prioritization of migrants over American taxpayers. But there's also something else here. What does this say about the Biden-Harris administration's ability to just lead? If they underfunded FEMA this much, and we are not even close to being in the heart of hurricane season, which in reality is August, September, October, and November, A.G. Moody.
Look, this is what President Trump did so well while in office. He could get to a 30,000-foot level, look at the health of American agencies and programs, determine what the problems were, and enlist resources, talented individuals, and a strategy to put Americans and the safety and strength of this nation first. I've seen it work here in Florida with Governor DeSantis. We decide where our problems are, we set forth to fix them, and we make sure not only money, but the strategy and talented personnel are in place to fix them. So, for example, when you have a disaster like this, and you know when there's no electricity, instability, when there's people needing just the basics of life because of a disaster. I was with officers the other night, and we surged our resources in vulnerable areas to looting. We made sure officers knew what to look for when it was in complete darkness. Right. They knew what to charge. We make sure our state attorneys know to hold these people so they don't get back out and start ravaging these communities again. It takes proactive efforts, and you just do not see this out of this administration. And here, and the roosters are coming home to roost. Look at what's happening right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's the reality of the situation. I mean, it's just bad leadership. Just bad leadership. But yet you have a significant portion of this country that think, oh, well, abortion is the number one issue. We need to be voting based off trans rights and all types of silly nonsense when you have buffoons running this government, right? We have crisis at the border that has essentially run our government dry in regards to money. Like literally, I mean, this program does not have money going into hurricane season to deal with these types of disasters because, you know, they've let the illegals have it. And then on top of that, again, they're sending money overseas left and right to Ukraine and Israel and all these other countries to help them fight their wars. But when it comes time for the American people to get the money, oh, now all of a sudden, oh, well, we don't have any. Now all of a sudden they want to slow walk it and take their time. But my point is this. If stuff like this doesn't show you the disaster that this administration is in regards to their competence, in regards to their priorities, in regards to their ability to actually respond when the American people need help the most, then I don't know what to tell you, man. I really don't. I don't know what to tell you. Situations like this should be a major wake-up call to the people of this country that these politicians, especially the Democrat Party, is putting the American people last on all fronts. And if that's not something that pisses you off, then how can you call yourself a proud American? I really don't understand. If situations like this don't piss you off and make you want to vote for change, how can you call yourself a proud American? I don't get it. Because Americans should want to put the American people first. And when you have an administration that doesn't put the American people first, they're clearly putting everybody else first, then you should want change. We should demand that these people be removed from office and replaced with competent leadership that's actually going to put the American people first and handle situations like this. And when stuff like this happens, we will have the money, we will have the resources, and there will be a fast, quick, swift response to be able to help out the American people when they need it the most. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.